This is TWiT.
Tech Break is brought to you by our friends at IT Pro TV, now called ACI Learning. ACI Learning is here to support your team's advancement in IT and cybersecurity. Get fully customizable training tailored to your team's needs. Visit go.acilearning.com/TWiT. TWiT listeners can receive up to 65% off an IT Pro Enterprise Solution Plan. The discount is based on the size of your team when you fill out their form. TikTok is shutting down its $2 billion creative fund, of which Saul Hank got nothing. Never. He has 2.5 million followers on TikTok. I asked him, I said, they've got a creators fund. You see any of that money? He said, no. I don't know how it works out.
That seemed to be the sentiment of a lot of the creators, according to this story. This fund was out there, but the people that, if they got anything, it was next to nothing. Yeah. And it sounds very familiar to what was once said about Instagram and Reels. The people that were putting up Reels constantly, pretty much at the same time that they were doing TikTok videos, they were seeing next to nothing far as revenue share. So they ended up going to YouTube Shorts, because YouTube pays a little more, but either way, it's still not a ton of money.
I have real misgivings about it. It's kind of like Maggie's Farm, right? I ain't going to work on Maggie's Farm no more.
I don't know what that is, sir. Did you just age me out of the conversation? What was this?
Maggie, and
why does she own a farm? Does she have farm hands?
Mr. Jimmerby is losing his mind off camera.
It's an exercise for the audience.
We're getting into Arlo Guthrie, though. Speaking of farms, now.
Yeah, your work. What happened to Alice's restaurant? Nothing.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Yeah, no.
Is that in the rundown as well?
What?
No.
You can get anything you want at Alice's restaurant. I know.
Restaurant.
And Bob Dylan said, I ain't going to work on Maggie's Farm no more.
Am I having a stroke?
I swear, this is the most ADD ever.
Just a couple of hits from my acid playlist, okay? Don't mind me. I feel like it's by now everybody should understand, when you're creating content for the man, the man is not going to pay you unless he has to.
Okay.
And the man apparently doesn't have to pay you. Right?
If it's their platform, I guess.
It does. It can backfire. Remember Vine? In fact, Taylor Lawrence has a great chapter on the Vine saga, which I wasn't even really that aware of. I knew it shut down shortly after, Twitter took over Vine, which was those 4-second things. People were becoming huge Vine celebrities.
Remember that? Before TikTok. Make a huge mansions they were getting for them.
And they went to Twitter and they said, dudes, we're making you all this money. And Twitter did not acknowledge them. They did not compensate them. And eventually, all these guys left for TikTok and other waters. But this, are you surprised the same thing's happening at TikTok now? Or it's going to happen? It's going to keep happening because somebody figured it out. Oh, the best thing to do is get these suckers to create great content for us and in great quantity. This was This was the difference between, we've talked about this before, Quibi and YouTube. Quibi was Hollywood's idea. It was done on the Hollywood model. You hire the best talent. They make great content, and then you charge people to see that content.
Yeah.
And it failed in months. Versus Silicon Valley's idea was you make it easy for people to upload. You get everybody to upload. We don't care if it's good content or not, because the good content will rise.
Yep.
We algorithmically promote it so that people see it. Now you've got something people actually watch. You can monetize with advertising and give as little as possible back to the creator.
Yep. Just back to us.
Here's one more thing you do. You make sure you take a handful of creators and make them rich. Because it's just like Las Vegas.
Just enough of a carrot to say, hey.
You put a billboard up right in front of Las Vegas saying, he just won $1 million.
You can win. You can win.
On the slots.
I got a chance.
But most people lose their shirts, right? That's how you build Las Vegas. It's the same thing. You promote, and YouTube does this relentlessly. You promote Mr. Beast and PewDiePie and all the people who make millions, and you say, look how much they're making.
Yeah.
You give a whole generation of people the notion that they can make a living as influencers.
Well, speaking of that, what are your thoughts on line 74 from Taylor Lorenz with camps teaching kids to be
that's
YouTubers?
Perfect example.
It is, and it's the same. She's doing just such great work following the book about the business of all this, and it's sweet, right? Kids can make YouTube and they can do stuff, But here's the thing. It's not just about, well, YouTube's going to rob them blind. The kids all say, I'm doing this because I want to be rich. 7-year-olds saying, I'm doing this because I want a lot of money. Yeah. That's our society. That's what we've done to them.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
And the real truth is, TikTok ain't going to give you any money, and YouTube isn't going to give you any money. There's not. Unfortunately, we did the same thing to kids in the inner cities when we said you can become an NBA star.
Yeah, you can go pro in ball.
Yeah. And you know what? The NBA got some great players out of that.
They did.
Because if you have 1 million kids all playing basketball as many hours as they can, a few are going to rise up. They're going to make millions.
The 1%. Not even
Less
the 1%. It's not even.
And then you get to, reap the rewards from having people do hundreds and hundreds of hours of unpaid labor to practice for it. And then, dance for you at training in the hopes that they'll hit it big.
Ain't gonna work on Maggie's farm no more.
Never heard of it, sir.
Maggie doesn't pay. Maggie needs to pay her employees above minimum wage.
I'm sorry, Mr. Jarvis. You said Bob Dylan? Yeah, let me make sure I pull him up on my Spotify again.
Well, wait a minute. Rage Against the Machine also did a copy.
Bob Dylan?
You can listen to the Beastie Boys version of it.
Oh, yeah. Beastie Boys? Yeah. Let me pull them up, too. Really?
Yeah.
I don't listen to
the Beastie Boys said, washing windows on the Bowery at 3:45 because he ain't going to work on Maggie's farm no more.
Sure. Didn't listen to either.
Bob Dylan is older than Joe Biden.
Is he really?
Oh, my.
No one's older than Joe Biden.
I didn't think so, but apparently Bob Dylan is the one. 2 years. He's got 2 years on Biden.
Is that the new metric? Well, is he older than Joe Biden? How old is he? He's older than Joe Biden. Donald Trump's only 4 years younger than Joe Biden. It's not like he's a kid. But he's got this vision. He was smart. He created an image of vigor.
Yeah.
You get everybody to make posters of you as a Superman and stuff.
Yeah.
And people forget that you're just as decrepit as anybody else.
Yep.
I ain't going to work on Maggie's farm.
He can't walk.
He can't walk
long distances.
Well, I wake up in the morning, fold my hands, and pray for rain. I got a head full of ideas that are driving me insane. It's a shame the way she makes me scrub the floor. I ain't going to work on Maggie's farm no more.
It's a lesson for everybody that Maggie's the one who makes money.
Okay.
No, I ain't going to work for Maggie's
lesson for everybody.
No more.
Yep.
Maggie is a bad boss.
Okay.
Well, he hands
Maggie
you a nickel.
is
he
in
hands
violation
you a dime.
of U.S. labor
I was about
law.
to say, where's OSHA and Maggie? Well,
He asks you with a grin if you're having a good time. Then he fines you every time you slam the door. I ain't going to work for Maggie's brother no more.
See? It's like the Tennessee Ernie Ford song. I owe my soul to the company store.
Maggie's paw. I never saw this one, Leo.
Oh, it's the whole family.
This is Maggie's paw now.
It's Baby
puts
Shark.
Cigar out.
It was Baby Shark for the 60s.
He puts his cigar out in your face just for kicks. His bedroom window is made out of bricks. The National Guard stands around his door. I ain't going to work for Maggie's paw no more. Jesus, what a weird
Man, there should have been employment lawyers should have been salivating at the mouth, like frothing at the mouth to go after Maggie's family.
As a child of the 60s, tripping balls, those lyrics spoke to me.
It made so much sense then.
They spoke
You're
to
like,
me.
wow, it really makes you
the lesson. Why do you think I created a podcast network? Because I wanted to be Maggie.
You wanted to be Maggie. You wanted to be the man.
I wanted to be the man.
I respect that.
I'm trying to imagine a version of this song about you and your son, the TikToker.
Yeah,
Really
Henry.
good.
Henry did work here for a while. He worked in sales for a couple of years here.
Oh, Hank.
Hated it. I didn't know this, but later he said, "Oh, you had to go home and cry every day."
Oh, seriously? I didn't know that.
Well, but the lesson learned was I don't want to work on Maggie's farm no more. The lesson learned was I don't want to do sales. Sales is hard.
Sales is hard
work.
Sales is hard.
Sales is really
And if you were going to inherit this business, you're going to inherit the business.
Well, I think that was the reason he wanted to work here is he really did want to kind of follow in my footsteps and inherit the business and take it over. And I said, that's fine. You can. It's good that you learn the business from the ground up. And here's the hardest part of the business is making money.
Yeah.
And he learned, but he also learned, how to be an influencer, and he's done very well.
He's done well. Yeah.
So
Did he ever do podcasting?
He has a podcast. Yeah. I mean, I think his biggest efforts were as, cooking on TikTok and then Instagram and now YouTube. He does a lot of YouTube shorts. Now. And really, you don't make money on any of that stuff. It's all to promote something else.
Exactly.
So in his case,
leverage
it's
another
salt
deal.
Yeah, he's going to do a Salt Lovers Club. He's going to sell salt. He's got merchandise. He's got a cookbook coming out next year and all of that stuff. That's how you turn that into money because it's just fame. It's not money.
And getting back to
the
that
part
story,
that all the influencers miss. That's the part that all of them
Absolutely.
miss, yeah.
The biggest money makers on YouTube aren't making money. Some of them are. I guess Mr. Beast makes his money from YouTube, but most of them are selling makeup, right? Or selling a product of some kind or doing their own internal advertising. Marquez gets a lot of money. Marquez Brownlee ads on his network are hundreds of thousands of dollars. They're very, very expensive.
I'm guessing his CPMs are pretty good too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they are because he, and I have my misgivings about YouTube numbers. I think they're highly inflated, but he has millions of views on every.
And he sticks very close to the gadgets.
Yeah.
Which
it makes me cry because briefly podcasting was the next big thing, and now it's like all over. No, it didn't last. I'm gonna hang in there.
We're still here.
I'm gonna hang in there until
swinging. Damn it!
Until they pull the plug on the.
Until I get my next book out, so I can promote it here.
Yes, just for
That's
Jeff.
all I want.